Okay. Okay, one second. One second. One second. Just making sure I'm live, making sure everything's good. Okay, cool. Well, hey, welcome back. I'm back. Hey. We are back. We're back to making the game. Um, and today's goal, today's goal is to try to make an inventory system so that I can then make a gun, so I can run around and shoot things. But the goal today is to have an inventory system. So if I remember right, I have the ability to sprint, and the camera moves when I sprint, which is not a lot. And to be honest, it's not in a great position either. I need to move the camera angle a little bit, but okay. So my next goal is to make it so that if I press I, an inventory system pops up, and then after, and that's kind of my goal today. Get it so that I have an inventory space so that I can then make kind of second APP coming. I guess for legal reasons, no. But I learned how to make a map, so I made a basic map. I'm gonna be changing all the buildings, of course. It was just so I can have kind of a layout, I guess you could say. And then the system ideas, game ideas and stuff. I've been kind of thinking of at work. But of course, I got to start with the basics first and make it so that it's at least playable. Oh, hold on, the camera speed's getting a little too fast. There we go. Playable. Um, I've been obviously I have no knowledge. I have no knowledge, so I'm learning how to do it. And I've been messing with. I managed to get the camera thing, and I can sprint too. So he runs faster when I press shift, which is good enough for me for now. Uh, Now I need to make an inventory system so that I can then make a gun, and then like learn how to set it up so that the gun shoots. And then I can make the missions. I even set up two models, one for I guess the vigilantes, and then the other for the criminals. Just so I can get a basic system model to which I can then work on NPCs to run around and do that. And then I can start working on some of the more interesting things I'm interested in, like a fast travel system. I want to make like I guess on a map this size, it'd only be like 4 fast travel points, but it'll be like a subway system. And then this building is going to be like a clan kind of like fortress, I guess you could say. I think the more interesting one that I might be able to do fairly early on after I get the mission set up is make it so that the district that the two contacts, because I'm going to make it where there's like competing contacts, right? A vigilante and then a criminal, and then when the criminal contact has more wins, because it's going to track like mission wins and losses, um, the environment will change based on which contact is winning. So when when the criminal contact is in the lead, it's going to be like tuner cars will be kind of spawning and driving around. It's going to be like very punk looking characters walking around. The streets will have more graffiti on the buildings. It'll just look more, like criminals are winning, right? Like the criminals are winning. And if then the corporate, I'll just call them corporate contacts, are winning, it's going to be very clean. You'll have muscle cars spawning, being driven, uh, with very business like business suits, polos, clean well-dressed people walking around, and then like no graffiti. So it's gonna be like depending on which faction's winning, will depend on how the district looks. I think I can set that up once I get the mission set up. But of course, I gotta learn everything. I need to learn everything. And I think one of the more interesting game systems I've been thinking about at work is individual shops. So instead of having like an APB where you have like a universal market where everybody kind of like buys and sells things, I want to make it where characters can rent out buildings as stores. And so instead of having a universal market, you have it where players can set up shop and then you can buy at their kiosk. And then like if other players want to sell things in their store, there's probably going to be a system where they can do like a tax to be able to use their store to sell things, and then players, of course, can go there to buy it. And then another thing I want to do is because I don't like character-bound items in Armas. I think it's a scam. I delete characters all the time, so I only ever buy account-bound things. I never buy character-bound because I delete characters all the time. So instead of character-bound, yeah, it'll be faction-based cards, yeah. But that's not it. That's not the only ideas. Instead of character bound, it'll be you can buy a 3 slot item like vehicle or weapon, um, and have it sent to a character, but make it tradable or leased. Right? Have a 7-day lease or a 30-day lease where players can rent vehicles or cars from you. That way, these individual shops, you can buy a bunch of vehicles or weapons that are 3 slot and then sell them at your shop, and then players can rent them for 7 days or 30 days, or just outright buy them if you wanted to just outright sell them. I think that'd be really cool. The other thing is based on kind of like which faction is winning the district. I think would be really cool is if they had if I mean these are all ideas, right? Ideas in the future. Obviously, I'm still learning. Um, I literally just learned how to set up a camera on a third person character, so it's gonna be a while, okay, before I get to these ideas. But these are ideas I want to implement in the future, so that I have a plan, so I can kind of plan as I go. But another really cool idea is making it where mods are physical items in the game. So when you equip a hunting sight, right, your character gets a scope on the top, or if it's a reflex sight, it'll probably be an optic. And then not only that, but you can customize it, same as how you can customize a weapon. So that way, because right now, right, in APB, um, you only really have a reason to have like maybe one hunting sight, one item, like one mod each, and then you just switch between the weapons because that's it. And you just hop in and switch. You don't need more than one of each mod. So if you did it that way, you can customize them to specific weapon styles or outfit styles, um, and make it so that you would probably want to purchase 2 or 3, depending on what your weapon customizations are. I think it would be kind of interesting. Support this bro. We're gonna watch every time. Love my work. Well, thanks, man. Well, let me make it first. Um, it's gonna be a very slow progress because, like I said, I don't know anything. I'm literally today's goal is to learn how to make an inventory system so that when I hop in, I can press I and make it so that it's drag and drop. I want to have it drag and drop. So you have your character, and then there's going to be like boxes for primary, secondary, grenades, um, and then whatever else I can think of, right? And make it so that you can just grab the item, drag and drop it, and it just switches. And it'll automatically unequip the mods, I think. We'll see. I'll probably make it an option where you can automatically unequip the mods. But my goal today is to learn how to make a UI. It's probably not going to be amazing. The inventory system probably isn't going to be amazing, but at least not as I learn how to do it. But as I refine, I'm sure I'll be able to make it something interesting. So I'm watching the tutorial. I'm gonna watch a tutorial on how to do it. How to make tutorial inventory system in Unreal Engine 5. And then I'll probably follow along and then see if I can learn how to actually do it. Ryan Laley. Oh my god, it's like a multi-part view full playlist. Holy shit. I don't know if I need to go this in depth, but the first one's 9 minutes, so let's watch this. Let's see what they got going.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to
This
the
is
new
this
and
is probably
improved
what's
inventory
most of my
system
time.
series that has been rebooted because I just wasn't happy with the way the last one was going. There was too many bugs, and yeah. So rather than try and
Because
fix,
the thing, because what I know so far about, because what I know so far is that in order to set up like UI systems, hold on, control home, you need widgets, a widget blueprint. Okay, which of course I don't have any blueprint right now, but I'm pretty sure if I went to the third person mode, they might have some widget set up. No. Okay. Well, still, in order for me to get a some kind of UI, I know I need a widget. I just want to see how, and of course, anything I make, we're gonna do in, I guess, content. Yeah, of course, obviously I'm still learning, so I apologize, guys. New folder, we'll do my, oh, my stuff. That way, the stuff I work on, I can just put in here, and then I can organize within this folder. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. Okay, time to watch this guy's video, and see what I can learn.
fix it and make it work with the bugs it had, I basically redid it from scratch, and so the whole project is now available to gold patrons over on patreon.com/Ryan Ailey. Plus,
Series, in
many
my
of the
opinion, very
first few
modular and
episodes are up
organized
there
and
too.
easy to customize for
So in
specific
this first
use.
episode, we'll be going over the setup for our inventory system, looking at the component, its various functions and variables it will need, as well as the struct we'll need for the item itself. So let's get started.
I might just follow
So the
along.
first thing to note about inventory systems is that we need to first of all set up whether or not we're going to have an ordered list or an unordered list. Now, what we'll be doing for this one is an ordered list, meaning that each slot is going to be unique to itself and that each one will have a unique ID, meaning I can then transfer slots, move them around, organize them as I wish by dragging and dropping them around my scene.
Oh, that sounds
So
awesome.
we're going to go ahead and set up first of all, the inventory component, which will then be able to apply to both the player and other objects to create containers. Let's start off by creating.
I don't know if I need a container. It's basically just gonna be like a, 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 a rip-off
A
APB.
component. We're going to go into our content browser down here and make a nice new folder to keep all of this in. And inside here, we're going to add a new.
Inventory. Okay. Like I said, I'm just gonna follow along for now. We'll see what he does. So we'll go to My Stuff, new folder, and it'll be Inventory within the My Stuff section. Big aim, big aim. Start from scratch. Yeah, it's true, man. Like I said, I don't know how long this is gonna take. My goal right now is just to learn like do one thing at a time. So and I have steps because obviously I already have a goal. I already know what kind of game I want to make. Now it's just I need to learn how to make it. you know. But today is to learn how to make the inventory, and then depending on how long that takes, um, I then want to learn how to like model a weapon and then have that classified as a primary weapon, and then kind of learn how to put it in. Oh, and then, of course, equip it to my character and then be able to shoot it. Then after that, I'll make a basic mission system. Then after that, I can make like some kind of NPCs. That way, it's not just player versus player. I'm gonna make it where it's like four, like law enforcement guys versus four crims. They come in and they kind of help fight. But they're gonna have like super weak guns and they're gonna shoot super slow, and so they're gonna be easy to kill. They don't do a whole lot of damage, but hey, if you're not paying attention, they might get you. But that way I can have missions running too, like two or three missions constantly running, even if there's nobody in there. That way you hear gunfights, you can see the chaos happening, the city feels alive, and that's one of the goals is to make the city feel more alive, even if there's one or two people playing. Um, so I made the folder. Cool. Let's see. Well, I have a lot of ideas. I need to get a whiteboard or something so I can um,
Blueprint class.
remember all
Go
these
to act
ideas.
component down here, and we're going to call this one
Oh my god, I looked
inventory.
away for a second. Hold
Go
on.
to act component, and inside here, we're going to add a new blueprint class.
Uh huh.
Go to act component down here, and we're going to call this.
Okay. So of course, like with the other stuff, as it goes, I want to see why the actor class in particular. So what does it say about the actor class? An actor component is a reusable component that can be added to any actor. Oh, so it's just something you can connect to items. Okay, well, a little
One
self-explanatory.
inventory system. So the inventory system is a actor component, which means we can attach it to other actors to add extra functionality and
Okay, we're gonna rename to invent. So it's gonna be B. I like to do BP to identify the blueprint, but I mean, I guess if I'm organizing everything, it's not that important. Inventory system, just so I can follow along with them, just so I know. That way, if I mess up, I know where I
variables
messed
that
up.
we can use freely throughout the game. So we're going to open this up, and I usually like to start with the core basics that I'm going to need in order for our inventory to work, or any sort of system to work. So we'll set up some basic events and functions to handle
Slow
this
and
stuff.
steady wins the race,
First
huh?
of all, let's clear this default stuff. We don't want this. And instead, let's set up a couple of functions. So the first function I'm going to add in here is going to be an add to inventory. Quite obviously, we need a function here to enable us to add our content.
Am I lagging or?
So the first function I'm going to add in here is going to be an add to inventory.
I mean, okay, we'll just follow along. But it looks like his camera stopped recording. So he double clicked in. We pull it up. I'm gonna attach it up here. I like to keep my things. Oh, that wasn't. Why are you not? Why are you not working? Why? What? Why you no work? Why you no work? Hold on. One more try. One more try. We'll open you up. PP. We'll grab you. Okay, you go up there. Okay. Um. There we go. Go. So he deleted these. So we'll hit delete. And then add new function. And then it was add to inventory, right? Add to inventory. Which is what the E key
Quite
is going to
obviously,
make
we
it,
need a
E or
function
F.
here to enable us to add our content to our way of
No
storing
lags.
the slots. Next, we're also going to need a remove
Oh man.
from inventory. And then we're going to need some variables. And the first variable we're going to have,
Oh, he's adding variables. Hold on.
that way we have a whole
Why does that
number.
say remove from inventory?
And
What did I
we'll
miss?
So inventory size. And we'll want to store this as
Oh,
an
he made it
integer.
a boolean.
That way we have a whole number indicating how many slots we're going to have in our inventory here.
Hold on.
Now, alongside this, we're going to need our content. Now, that is going to be the meat and bones.
So he's got
of
two
all
functions.
of
He's
this.
got one that says add
This
to inventory and one
content's
from
gonna be an
remove from inventory. Dude, that sucks that like it didn't record the second part. So he added another one that said remove from inventory. And then I saw he added. So let me listen to what he says then, since for some reason the.
And then we're going to need some variables. And next, we're also going to need a remove of storing the slots.
Hold on.
Our way of storing the slots. Next, we're also going to need a remove from inventory. And then we're going to need some variables. And the first variable we're going to have, so inventory size, and we'll want to store this as an integer. That way,
Okay, so he added these two, then he went down the variables and he added inventory size. Okay, so I don't think I missed anything actually. I think I got inventory size. I don't think I need inventory size, but we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna follow along so I can learn. So a Boolean is true or false. I know a float is a number-based system. I don't know what an integer is. Control Alt to learn more. It's a whole number. Hmm.
we have a whole number indicating how many slots we're going to have in our inventory here. Now, alongside this, we're going to need our content. Now, that is going to be the meat and bones of all of this. And this content is going to be an array of structs. Now, structs are ways of storing loads of variables together. In this case, we'll be storing two in an ordered fashion. So, let's go ahead and create the struct for this. We're going to go into our blueprint menu here, and we're going to create a new structure. And the key definition for this is that you're going to use F, and then you type in the name of your struct. So we're going to do slot struct.
F slot structure. F slot structure. F slot structure. So you want the blueprint structure. F slot struct for structure.
And let's open this up. Now, I did briefly mention that this will involve two types of variables. The first one will be an ID name, which would be the item. So item ID. And that'd be a name.
Okay. So item ID, and it's just a name. I think that's self-explanatory. I don't think I need to learn unless I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Oh, control S, save everything. Control S. Let's not lose our progress.
And the other one will be a quantity. Would be a integer.
That's an integer. So it's a constantly changing
So
number, right?
I can then go back to my inventory system.
It can only be whole numbers. He said quantity, I think. So add. How did he add? How did he do that? Add variable. Okay, I got it. Quantity. And this one is a number. So I'm assuming this means that you can have like a certain number of things. I don't think I need this section here because APB doesn't have. Oh, I mean, in technicality, mission items, right? You can have multiple small mission items. Okay, screw it. I'll keep it then. I'll keep it. I'll just have to classify those, and then I can put them in a different section later.
And in here, we're going to create our variable for our content. So we're going to call this content. And in our variable type, we're going to search for our F slot struct to find it there. And this is just a singular one. So to make it store multiple things, we need to make this an array. So click on the little icon next to our variable type and change this to an array.
So it can store multiple items.
And there we go.
Oh, okay, okay, that's everything. Okay. So we are going back. Okay, so we're gonna close you. Can I put you up here? Oh, I can. Good. Okay, so back to the BP inventory system. We're gonna add another variable. He labeled it as content. I think he kept it as an integer, correct? No. No, he didn't. He connected it to um, F slot structure. And then with this, it went from a single to an array. Okay. So both so I just need to get this straight for a second, because so both of these functions have both of these, correct? I mean, where the hell? Oh my God! Wait, these are their own individual blueprint systems? What about the event graph? Oh my God, the event graph doesn't even have a fucking. Okay, so he's got the same thing set up. All right.
So to make this work for
That's fascinating. That's actually crazy fascinating, because there was a video I was following a tutorial earlier. Let me compile. Let me control S to save. But I was following. Let me show you guys. So in starter content, we are going to go to blueprint, and then oh wait, hold on. I think it's in third person actually. I lied. In blueprint, and then the character blueprint. If you look, I have modified some stuff, right? Sprint input is all here. They're not in their own individual blueprint sections. They're all put in the event graph. So I might have to come back through here to simplify the systems, kind of give them their own individual blueprint stuff. But yeah, see, I made this part here, the sprint input. I even organized it and gave it its own little space here, just so I understand, so I can remember. But it's already so much different. This guy does things much different than that Gorka guy does. Good or bad, I don't know yet. I like how it's all kind of convenient, but at the same time, they all have their own blueprint systems, and I don't know if that's going to make things more difficult or simple, because the event graph is empty. I didn't actually add anything to the event graph. It's all separated. How fascinating. Let's see if he combines them.
multiplayer, there's a couple of things we're going to set up here too. The first thing we need to do is make sure this whole component, this whole system, is going to be replicated. We're going to go to class defaults, and you're going to go down to component replicates and turn that on. We are then also going to replicate
So that we can replicate. Okay. So we're going to class defaults, component replicate, and turning it on.
our content array. So click on content array and go over to the right hand side. You'll see replication. Change that to replicated. Now,
just so we can. Okay. Content. He wants like content array. Replicate. Let me just make sure I do not fucking. Let me make sure I'm not fucking this up.
content array. So click on content array and go over to the right hand side. You'll see replication.
Okay.
Change that to replicated. Now, when you do change this to replicated,
He compiled. Got it. Compile. Always compile. And control S. Always save.
what that does mean is that if the server changes the content of this inventory component, it will replicate it to all the clients as well. So we'll be setting up some further functions to enable this, but just know that for now, it's replicated. Only the server can change this content. Quite important, that. I'm going to click save, and then we're going to go back to our player character. And we're going to add it to our player character in the component list here.
Oh. How interesting. And yeah, once again, he's not actually utilizing a blueprint system. He's creating all the stuff within the menus itself, which is very different, very, 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 very different than what. So we're gonna go back to my third person character, which is this guy, and in the components, add BP inventory system. Okay, that's what he did, correct? Yeah.
There you go. Now over here on the right hand side, you'll see inventory size is defaulting to 0. I'm
Uh,
going to change that to 16. And content here, we're going to leave blank. But if you did want the player to start with some content, you can indicate that here just fine.
okay. For the sake of the tutorial, we're gonna follow what he does, and then we will compile and Control S and save. Very boring stuff. I apologize, guys.
Now, in terms of the actual content, the actual items that you'll be picking up and spawning and so forth, you'll need to make a data table for this. And for this to work, we need to have some structure about what are the items that we need
Uh-huh.
in our data table. So in that inventory folder here, we're going to create another struct. This is going to be F item struct.
F item struct. F item struct. Okay, so we're opening. We got a lot of tabs here. So that's F slot struct. We're gonna open up. We're gonna go back to my stuff, back into inventory, and then it's gonna be a new blueprint structure. F I struct. Enter. Okay. Control S. Control S. It's just in general Control S.
And this is going to be a structure that contains all the details of the individual items. So, notably, the first thing we'll want to know is their name. So, what are they? That'll be a text field.
Text field name. I like the way this is kind of working out a little bit better, to be honest. I think it's just name text. Control S.
Click another one, and this will be a description.
Name description. Makes sense. I understand. Description. I'm assuming this is also going to be text.
We'll then probably have a thumbnail.
Yeah. Okay. What is this? Oh, I see.
So we'll need a thumbnail to be able to see it inside of our drag and drop interface. So I'm going to go in here and set that to a texture 2D.
2D texture.
Okay. And
Wow, this dude's actually much more thorough than that other one I watched. No, but that's good. That's good. That's good. And then he did 2D texture. A texture 2D array or just texture 2D? Mm. His says texture 2D. Let me go back and see how he got. So just texture 2D. So it's not the array. Understood, understood, understood. Because I still don't totally understand what an array is, to be honest. Like, absolutely, to be honest here. Texture 2D. That didn't quite work. Why? It's right here. Oh, object reference, class reference, soft object reference.
Okay,
What?
2D.
Dude, he just
Okay,
fucking double clicked it.
2D.
Bro. Okay, how do I do that? So we'll double click. Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay, and hit save on that. Okay, and
So we're gonna save. Make sure it saves.
then we're gonna add in here the item class that we want our item to
Hey, primary,
be.
secondary,
So when
got
we,
it.
the reason why we need this is if we then make it so we drop the item, we need to know what item we actually are dropping inside the.
Okay, I don't. Oh, I guess that could count for like mission packages and stuff if they're small. Item class. So I'll put it in because it does make sense for some of the items. I do plan on making it. He just did item class, right? Yeah. But of course, it's going to be, I'm assuming
Environment as an
text.
actual thing. So we're going to go in here and set that to an actor and
Oh, it's an
class
act.
reference. So you just hover over it and go over to class reference here. And you choose a class reference because if
Actor class.
it doesn't exist yet in the world, you want to use a class reference. If it's a particular one in the world that already does exist, you want to use an object reference. And
One more time.
if it's a particular one in the world that already does exist yet in, and go over to class reference here. And you choose a class reference because if it doesn't exist yet in the world, you want to use a class reference. If it's a particular one in the world that already does exist, you want to use an object reference.
How
And the last item we're going to add
interesting.
in here, for us at least, is going to be this stack size. This will be an integer. Now, stack size would be how many items of that same.
Yeah, I mean, that one's self-explanatory. Stack size. Enter. And this one's an integer because it's just a full number. I'm learning. I'm learning. I understand.
Class, same type, can be stacked into one slot. So before it has to go into a new slot. Okay, so if you picked up 10 apples, you do, and but you only got five stack size, you can get 2 slots filled up with apples there. Okay. But that's all we need here for now. But you could also add more stuff onto this. So you could have things, extra details. So like if you're doing like a merchant system, you could include things like buying and sell values. You can also include things like their weight if you're doing an incumbent system, whatever you may wish. Okay. For us, that'll do there. And we'll just close that there. And we're going to create our empty data table. So you just right click inside of your content browser, go to miscellaneous, data table, and then choose your F item struct.
Data table for the F item struct. Okay. We're creating a data table for the F item struct. So we're gonna save this, close it, open my browser, and then we are now opening. He said miscellaneous, so it's gonna be miscellaneous data table for F item struct, which will be a data table of all of my items in the game. I'm assuming is what this is for.
Okay. We'll call this one item data.
Simple enough. Item data.
And it's in here where you can fill out the information about each item, which we'll do later on in another episode. And there you go, we've got the start of our inventory system ready to go. In the next episode, we're going to work on our interaction system, allowing our player to interact with items around the world in order to pick them up or put them into chests.
Okay.
So you can watch that next episode right now over on patreon.com/RyanandAiley. You can catch all my videos early before everyone else from just $1 a month. Massive thank you to all my patrons and members for their continued support. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Okay, we're going to the next one. I didn't think it was gonna run through the whole thing.
Hello and welcome to part 2 of our inventory system series. In the last part we set up the basic core functionality of our item systems and inventory components with the various variables and functions that we'll need. In this episode we're going to work on the interaction system that our player will use to interact with the items around the world to pick them up. So let's get started and putting it in the game. So for our interaction system, we're actually going to make use of the inventory component for this as well. So I'm going to go find my inventory component, inventory system, and open this up. And in here, we're going to go and head over to our event graph, and we need a tick event for this. And we use
Okay. Okay, he's moving. Okay. Got it. So we're going back to the BP inventory system. We are going to the event graph. Let's see.
using a tick event because we need to constantly check what we're looking at inside the game.
Makes sense. Event tick. Yeah. Event graph has a event tick.
So we do an event tick, and then we create a function for interaction tracing. Interaction trace.
Interaction tracing. Why? I'll follow along, but I need to know why. Why are we setting this up?
Okay. Now for this, we're going to use a sphere trace. And this will just give us a nice thick line going out of the character's point of view. We do sphere trace by channel.
Oh, that's cool. It makes an outline? It makes a fucking outline? That's fucking awesome. I should set that up for like when you see enemy players too then, you know? Sphere trace by channel. Okay. Sphere trace by channel. Oh my god, it's huge.
And the starting position and end position will make use of the camera itself. So we're doing a first person game. If you're doing a third person game, this bit will need to be a little bit different. But for the most part, it's mostly the same. So for our player camera manager,
It's mostly
this thing's going to return whichever camera we're looking through at that moment in time. And we need to get
player camera.
the location of that camera. So actor location.
Oh. Oh, it's a subsystem within this one, isn't it? It is. Get actor location.
And put that into the start.
Okay. I'm sorry guys if I'm moving a little slow. I don't like how it doesn't match. Start.
The end is going to be calculated by using the forward vector of the camera. So you get actor forward vector. And we're going to multiply this by how...
Okay. Forward vector. So we're gonna multiply it, so let me move this. Actually, to be honest, I want it to be visible.
far away can we interact with something.
Multiply. Okay.
So we'll just convert that to a multiplied by float.
Okay.
And this will increase the strength. Now, the reason why I have to do this is because the forward vector is normalized. So it's only give us a value of 1 at most. So we need to increase that, obviously, because 1 is very, very short. So we'll just do this and promote that to a variable. And we'll call this one interaction range. And I'm making it a variable. That way you can easily...
Holy cow, bro. Interaction range, right?
tweak and change this inside of the player character settings without having to dive.
Okay. Let's listen to what the reasoning behind this.
Easily tweak and change this inside of the player character settings, and we'll call this one interaction range. And I'm making it a variable. That way you can easily tweak and change this inside of the player character settings without having to dive back into the component.
Okay.
Once we've got this, this is what we call our offset. And we're going to add this offset to our start location. So take the start location, add our offset onto it, and then
Oh.
put that back into the...
So hold on. Why does he not just connect? Wait, I'm confused. So the actor location, but ends. So why couldn't this just be the end? What? I don't understand. But for the sake of this video, into a multiply, and then this comes from that, to which you then go into end. I hate that I can't see. It looks a little wonky, but at least I can see where the lines go. Okay. So let me see if I can understand this, because this is kind of a lot. Um, So in order for this interaction interface, which is what he said is a sphere, goes into this sphere by channel. Player, camera goes off into our target camera location, which goes into the start. But also, return value vector interaction range is how far away when we look at it we can see it. As we look at it, we see it, we get it, comes back. Just literally the distance. And once again, this isn't going into this, it's just going down, which goes into the end.
End. Now, for a sphere trace, you do need to give it a radius, and I'm going to use 15 as my radius. And we also will make use of a trace channel. Now, at the moment, we only have two trace channels, visibility and camera. These two come with the engine and are pretty basic. So, visibility, the idea behind it is if it is something that can be seen or blocked by what you physically can't see, you want to block that, you can do. Whereas camera is literally you want to stop the camera from viewing through it. Okay, so, but that's the general terms. But you can use it for whatever you like, really. In our case, we're gonna make a separate one. I'm going to do that in our project settings. And in here, I'm going to search for channel. And you'll go down, you'll find the section for trace channels. A new trace channel. And we're going to put in one called interactable. Or interactive.
Okay. Interactive. This dude's going pretty ham. We're gonna control this real quick. We're gonna save. I'm pretty sure you just clicked on something called like tracing, right? Oh shit. Okay, he might have gone a little fast.
And in here, I'm going to search for channel.
Channel.
And you'll go down, you'll find the section for
Trace channel. New trace channel. Interactive.
trace channels. A new trace channel. And we're going to put in one called interactable. Or interactive, we'll call it. And the default response for this is going to be ignore. Because we don't want to make everything interactable, only certain things. And those certain things will be a lot less than everything. So we'll do except for
Okay. Learning.
ignore there. Close that. And now if we compile this here, we should see it in our drop down here.
Okay. Wow, damn, bro. He fucking knows his stuff.
Yeah. You don't see it here, just compile it and it should then appear. Okay. Okay, so we've got that going on there. Actors to ignore. We want to ignore probably the owner of the of this component. So just right click, do get owner, and we'll put that.
To the
That's
ignore,
in
right?
our actors to ignore. Do make array first. Make array. and then put that in there.
Why an array? Why not just? He's doing things without explaining.
Okay, so that is the tracing part done. Next, we need to put this into a branch to determine whether or not we actually are looking at something that we can interact with. So let's put in a branch, like that. Now, normally when I do this, I like to do the true line first and then doing the exceptions in the false branch later. So we'll do the true branches here first. So if it's true, we do hit something, we need to know what we're hitting. So we're going to break open our hit result.
That I don't understand. How did he? What did?
True, we do hit something, we need to know what we're hitting. So we're going to break open our hit result.
What?
So if it's true,
Dude, how did I fuck up already? I need to go back.
make array first. Nope. Make array, and then put that in there. Okay, so that is the tracing part done. Next, we need to put this into a branch to determine whether or not we actually are looking at something that we can interact with. So let's put in a branch, like that. Now, normally when I so let's into a okay, so
Interactive. Trace complete. Ignore self. Ignore self. Okay, so everything is not wrong. I didn't fuck up.
array, and then put that in there. Okay, so that is the tracing part done. Next, we need to put this into a branch to determine whether or not we actually are looking at something that we can interact with. So let's put in a branch.
What the hell? How? Why is mine? Why is this different? No, that's not what I want. Not what I want.
that. Now, normally when I do this, I like to do the true line first and then doing the exceptions in the false branch later. So we'll do the true branches here first. So if it's true, we do hit something, we need to know what we're hitting. So we're going to break open our hit result.
Break hit result. How do you have... No, give me a second. I'm trying to figure out why it's... not the same. His is different. His is different. Why is it different?
So if it's normally when I put to array first,
What I
make
want to
array,
see...
and then put that in there. Okay, so that is the
Sphere traced by channel. Is mine the same? Oh, hell no, it's not the same. Sphere traced by channel. Okay, I see what I did wrong. What? Wait. How do I delete it? How do I Okay. So I grabbed the wrong thing. Break hit result. That is what I was looking for.
tracing part done. Next, we need to put this into a branch to determine whether or not we actually are looking at something that we can interact with. So let's put in a branch like that. Now, normally when I do this, I like to do the true line first and then doing the exceptions in the false branch later. So we'll do the true branches here first. So if it's true, we do hit something, we need to know what we're hitting. So we're going to break open our hit result and get our hit actor. Now, the first check we're going to be is whether or not the hit actor is going to be... Actually, first of all, let's promote that to a variable. Let's do it this way around. Promote it to a variable.
Okay, so we got a lot going on.
And we'll correspond the look at actor. This is the actor you're currently looking at. Remember, this will only ever be things that are interactive because we've got this trace channel here for interactive items. So we'll do that. And then we'll put that into our true branch here. We then are going to set up an interact interface. And that interact interface is going to handle what's going to happen when we look at something and also when we interact with it later on too. So in your content drawer, open it up, and in your inventory folder here, we're going to create a new interface. Go to blueprints, blueprint interface, and we start with I, and then we do interact interface.
Huh?
Interface.
2
So
o'clock,
the
huh?
blueprint interface.
Blueprint interface. Interact interface.
And we start off with I, and then we do interact interface. Open this up, and this is going to have two functions. We're going to have look at.
Oh, wait. I interact.
And we have another one.
And he opened it. Control S.
Called interact with. Now, a interface is a way.
Shit.
Open this up, and this is going to have two functions. We're going to have look at, and we have another one called interact with. Now,
Okay. My God.
now, a interface is a way of giving common functions that you put onto any actor, but would have different implementations of what actually happens when you actually call these functions. So really useful for interaction interfaces in this case. So with that done, we're going to do on our look at, define here our functions. And by the way, these are only definable. You can't edit actually what's inside of them. You just define the parameters and design of it. So now look at here, we're going to have in our outputs a text. And this is going to be a message that we want to show on the screen to say what they're going to pick up. So we'll call this one message. Like that.
Message text. Let's look at. Save. Oh, he compiled it?
And we'll
Oh,
come back to
fuck.
interact with later. Okay, so the way this works.
Okay, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything.
And we'll come back to
So he hit compile.
And we'll come back to interact with later.
He just closes it. Good to go. Save, compile, close. Okay.
Okay, so the way this works is that if you drag out from look at actor and search for look at, you'll see the option to look at and in brackets message. This means it's going to attempt to call this look at function. However, if this actor does not implement it, then it's not going to do anything. It's just to ignore it and carry on. But if it does, we can define what to do, such as this message here. So for now, let's just do a print string to demonstrate that working.
Oh my gosh.
Right, so let's put this through a test.
So he spread it out to put it in the middle. I'll keep it really condensed.
Now, to be able to test this, we need to make an item that we can actually interact with. So let's create that test item. Going to go to a new folder here. Items.
Oh, he's making it within the blueprint. So we're going to, of course, save, compile, all that good jazz. He pulled up the... He's making a new folder for items. I guess it makes sense because this is where all the items stuff is, inventory and everything, so it's actually understandable.
And I'm going to
Wow, he's fucking...
create a new blueprint class called actor.
Okay, an actor blueprint.
And we'll call it one test item. And open it up. Now the test item here, we need to make sure is implementing the interact interface first. You do that on the class settings. So over here on the right hand side, implement
Okay, so let's make sure that
test. We create a new blueprint class called actor. And we'll call it one test item. And open it up. Now the test item here, we need to make sure is implementing the interact interface first. You do that on the class settings.
Oh, wait, that didn't actually pull up what I needed. Oh, maybe it did pull up what I needed.
So over here on the right hand side, implemented interfaces, you go to add, and you can search.
Oh, why don't I have... Why... Why don't I have, like, the blueprint? Okay, so he's in interfaces. Is it implemented in interfaces? Yeah. Okay.
Search for your interact interface. That will
Add I... Where did that go?
go to add, and you can search for your interact interface. That will now
So it goes into implemented. Did that work? It did work.
mean that this thing can use those functions, and you'll see them now down here on the bottom left, interfaces.
Oh! Yes, it did work.
So if I open up look at, by double clicking on it, I can type in any message here, and it will show that message on the other side. So let's say here, pick up test
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Is it only for the individual? Item?
item.
Pick up test item. Yeah, let's do it. Pick up test item.
Okay. File and
He compiles, and then we save.
save. So the inventory system is going to be looking at it, then it's going to call that function, and that's going to return this text here,
Okay.
which we're then printing to the screen. So we'll keep an eye on that in the left-hand corner. But before that, we need to make sure we call the interaction trace on our tick event. So back on your event graph, drag out interaction trace.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. So back on event graph. On the BP inventory, event graph. Jesus Christ. That's nuts. I forgot about that. We have the interaction trace. So we're going to drag it out here. Save. Save, 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 save.
And plug that in. Okay, now.
Okay, so he didn't do anything crazy. He just connected them. Okay, I think I'm moving too slow.
Make it the item that we want to put in. We're going to drag that in. Oh, first I need to add a mesh to it. So something actually.
Cube. Okay, so he actually kind of went a little quick on that, but let's. So he went back to the third person world. Okay. Once again, we're gonna Control S save. Pull this up. He tried to drag and drop, but it didn't do anything, right? I think he just added a cube component.
We're going to drag that in. Oh, first I need to add a mesh to it. So something actually look at. There we go. That'll do.
Okay, he just didn't even bother naming it. Go back to third person. So when I open this, I drag and drop. It's a cube. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, you hit end and it drops to the ground. Oh. I'll just do that. Control S.
And oh, apologies there. And we also want to make sure that this is going to block the interactive trace. So if you go down to the collision settings, and you do this for each item that you need to be interactive, also NPCs or anything else you want to interact with, you can use the same system for that. But if I change that from block all dynamic to custom, I'm going to go to interactive trace response and turn that to block. Okay. So we're going to drag this out, pop this in, play, and if I walk up to it, we don't see nothing. Hold on.
Okay. So he blocked it. I think he did that literally as an example.
Hold on. And I think that's because my interaction range is set to 0. Yeah, let's change that to 300.
Oh. So that wasn't intentional. Fuck. Fuck. Why?
Let's try that again. There we go. And now it's printing out all those things.
So that worked for him. need to. Where's. What? Okay, so the crosshair is like right here. I think that kind of sucks. It's a little too high for me, but I am satisfied to see it works. I am satisfied to see it works.
Put it on a tick event, it's constantly printing out all those things. Now, because it's constantly printing out those things, that becomes an issue because we don't want to constantly be adding messages to the screen to the player. That's very wasteful. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to change it slightly to allow us to only do it once every time we see something new. So if I go to my interaction system, interaction trace, and before we go into look at actor and then look at, we're going to do a check to see if the look at actor is different from the previous one. So we only want to do this if they're different. So we'll put that in here with a branch.
Okay, so he created another branch. Okay, he created another branch. I don't know if I need to go that far. Oh, it connected. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Just to keep it out of the way.
True. And we'll check in hit actor is not equal to, and we'll be plugging our look at actor, which is the one we've currently been looking at. So put that in there and put that in there.
Not equal to look at actor. Okay. Which goes to this, goes to this. Save, compile, save. I think I did everything correct.
And now it will only do this if we're actually looking at something completely different. We do have. Oh, I forgot to plug that back in. There we go.
Uh, so you actually have to go in here also. Okay.
Yeah. So only do it if it's completely different. Compile and save that. There you go. Now I'm only getting it once there.
Let me try that. Let me try that. Pick up, pick up. Oh, yeah. That's so cool. How interesting. That's so cool to me. That's so cool to me. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, but if I look away, come back, it doesn't turn back on, which is not what I want because when I look away, I want it to let me look back at it and still show a new message. So, how do we fix that? Well, that looking away part is happening on the first branch when we do the return value. Remember, this is only going to return true if we hit something that has interactive set to block. So on the false of this, we're going to get rid of our look at actor. So let's take out look at actor, set, and if we leave it blank like this, that means
Set look at actor.
it's going to have nothing on it. Compile, save that, and there we go.
Mm. So the interesting thing is, it was working for me. Is it because I fucked up somewhere else?
So now every time I look at my block, it's going to show the message. I look away and look back, it should show it again. Again, only once.
Oh. So now it just doesn't go away. Huh. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
And there we go, we've got an interaction system in our game. Now the second half of this
Oh my
is
gosh,
creating.
what's up? Why are you being